infested with insecurity. I can allow my heart to be slyly twisted, focusing on lesser loves, valuing lesser things. I chase hard after them, and then I wonder why my tank is empty. Where's the joy, the power, vision, and hope, the security and freedom? But eventually, often after a storm, I stop, search God's horizon, and see there the great call of the gospel rising afresh like the morning sun, and I remember, hide yourself in the finished work of the cross, heart. Find joy in the hidden life, heart. Remember, Jesus' call is not about jockeying to be seen by the world, heart. This clarion call invites you to collapse into the knowledge of how deeply seen you are by the Father. His love will break your heart of stone and make it new with soft flesh and endurance. I've lived that journey this past year on the stormy beaches of my life. I've meandered through some of the lesser-known, concealed characters of Scripture and the lessons of Colossians and found myself in a place of surprising beauty and strength. I'm ready to walk with you along this path. Let's get some sand between our toes. Let's run the beach together and look to the one who is ever and always bringing deeper transformation and freedom. Scene, Part 1. Chapter 1, Discovered. The eyes of the Lord are everywhere. Proverbs 15:3. In the year of our desolation, we went to the Outer Banks. For a quarter of a century, my family had traveled the long distance from our home each summer to gather at the blustery barrier islands off the east coast of North Carolina, lovingly known as the Outer Banks. Dotted by towns with inscrutable names like Nag's Head and Kill Devil Hills, the Outer Banks had been a bastion of refuge for us. And until the area was made popular by the Netflix series, relatively few knew of the bank's secluded beaches, rough edges, and comforts. Its nature and nurture had been kept somewhat secret, like a schoolgirl's crush. For 24 summers, we had walked the bends of those beaches, our feet learning where the unpredictable Atlantic waters were likely to break on the hidden shoreline, stepping around sinking sand, searching for sand that was sturdy. In our 25th summer, however, we weren't sure if anything was sturdy any longer. Our sails had been shot through. We felt frail and anchorless in the sea's squall. Calling, ministry, relationships, direction, the masts of our lives were bending in the strong winds. During those desperate days, every feeling was sharp, like the sting of salty sea spray on a frigid gust. We endured wave upon crashing wave. And yet, when I finally quieted down and noticed the power of the wind more than my own powerlessness in the storm, I felt another walking alongside my pain. I recognized him, sensed his steadying arm, and suspected he was extending an invitation, a gentle offer that contrasted with the savage storm rolling around the seabed of my heart. Jesus' invitation was soft and quiet, a counter melody to the wild tumult, a soothing lullaby sung over the storm. I recognized it as a hymn from a heavenly country, one he'd been inviting me to sing for a very long while. During those days of emotional turbulence, I couldn't quite grasp his tune as I stepped along the shore, but I longed for it like a child who hopes to hear the tide in a conch shell. Early on the last day of our beach retreat, my husband and I combed the sandy contours one last time. Halfway into our walk, as we stepped along the surf's break, I suddenly recoiled, trying to avoid stepping on the decaying coil of a brown pufferfish. At least that's what I thought it was. Peering at the object more closely, I called to my husband, "Hey, that's a shell. A whole shell." His disbelief matched mine as we bent over wide-eyed to scoop up the sea's gift. Now, at face value, our incredulity might seem dramatic. After all.